Mayor Reese.
Here.
Councilmember Osk.
Here.
Nelson.
Here.
Gilbertson.
Here.
Bagley.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
Butterfield.
Here.
And Schultes.
Here.
Councilmember Gardner is excused. 8 present, 1 excused.
Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Mayor, I'd offer a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Osk.
Aye.
Gilbertson.
Aye.
Butterfield.
Aye.
Schultes.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Bagley.
Aye.
And Nelson.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 noes.
The motion carries. Consent agenda. Renee?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council members and Mr. Mayor, tonight for your approval, I have the City Council minutes of February 2nd, 2026. The Planning Commission meeting minutes of February 4th, 2026 as a draft. The Police Civil Service Commission minutes of February 2nd, 2026 as a draft. The Willmar Municipal Utilities Commission minutes of February 9th, 2026. Approval of the Supervisors Union 2026 to 2028 agreement. Approval of the AFSCME General Labor Agreement. The Professional Services Proposal, Airport Snow Removal Equipment Acquisition. The Willmar Township Fire Agreement. The Candy High Friends of the NRA Minnesota Lawful Gambling Application. Sale of low-potency hemp edible retail registrations for 2026. And the Accounts Payable Report from January 29th through February 11th, 26. And for your information, I have the Director's Report and the Financial Report through 1/31 of 2026.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to pull item 5G, and unless there's any other items to be pulled, I'd offer a motion to approve the remainder of the consent agenda.
Second.
You got a motion and a second to approve at minus 5G. Discussion. Roll call.
Councilmember Butterfield.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Bagley.
Aye.
Osk.
Aye.
Schultes.
Aye.
Gilbertson.
Aye.
And Davis.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 noes.
That motion carries. Next, we've got the consent agenda items. And call on Councilmember Osk.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm just hoping to get a better understanding of what is included in the professional services proposal here from Bolton and Mink. It sounds to me like they're basically putting together a bid for us, and that runs $20,000, which seems to be extensive in my opinion.
Kyle's coming.
Good evening, Mayor. Thank you, Councilmember Ross, for the question. This bid proposal, as Bolton and Mink is the assigned engineer for the Willmar Airport. The specifications do comply with the FAA Buy America requirements, as well as the process that's required for acquisition through the Federal Aviation Administration. As you can see, when you look at the scope, within the scope of services and towards the bottom for the consideration that we're asking, this is a $20,000 professional services agreement that includes all of the coordination with the FAA. However, as you'll note, the breakout is 95% of this of the $20,000 is paid by the FAA, 2.5% or $500 by the state of Minnesota, and the city of Willmar shares also at 2.5% or $500. That is something that we have discussed, if you remember previously, when the Airport Master Services contract was approved last year, I believe. These are the specifications required by the FAA, as well as the approved rates approved by MnDOT, the aviation division as well. that provides some context.
Do I understand you correctly to state that the rates are approved by MnDOT? So like the $20,000 for putting together an RFP would be something that MnDOT would dictate an amount on?
Councilman Baraska, I believe the rates, I believe that they're hourly rates that are set. I would need to double check and verify that, but I know we do have that documentation. I just don't have it in front of me this evening.
So in theory, the rates would be an hourly rate set by MnDOT, which in theory, Bolton and Mink would have estimated how many hours that they would need to put together an RFP and arrived at $20,000.
Yeah, so further down on the project fee estimate, they do have 136 total person hours, varying rates depending on the activity or person fulfilling that role. Again, those are, and then as well as the overhead, which is the 2.25% above the hourly rate. Again, that, I believe that was the overhead was the question, was questioned last time, and that is that MnDOT rate.
It just seems excessive, but I suppose when it's specialized, when it comes to airport and dealing with FFA and MnDOT and all those different parties, that it's not as simple as just taking out a snow removal. Yeah.
It's very unique, yes.
Okay.
It'd be unique if you were FFA.
Yeah, I bet. I will offer a motion to approve item 5G.
Second.
Any questions, discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Fagerly.
Aye.
Butterfield.
Aye.
Ost.
Aye.
Davis. Aye. Johnson.
Aye.
Schultes.
Aye.
And Nelson.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 noes.
The motion carries. Next is the open forum, and we've got one individual speaking, and that's Celeste Flynn from Charter. And Celeste, 3 minutes. Give your name and address.
Sure. My name is Celeste Flynn. Our address, our Spectrum store is at 400 Lakeland Drive Northeast. Good evening, members of the City Council. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Celeste Flynn. I'm the AVP of Government Affairs for Charter Communications, also known as Spectrum. I'm here to update you on Spectrum's ongoing commitment to serving the residents of Willmar and to share details about our latest investments in our network infrastructure, product offerings, and customer service. From 2020 to 2024 alone, we've invested nearly $51 billion in U.S. technology and infrastructure. Our investment is customer-focused to ensure dependable service. Charter makes these investments because we want to attract and retain your community members as customers. Today, our company faces privately funded competition in Willmar. We are no stranger to competition and face it every day from multiple broadband providers. We notified you late last year that we began our network evolution in Willmar. Our upgraded network will deliver multi-gigabit symmetrical speeds, ensuring that our customers have future-proof connectivity. We are excited that these multi-gig symmetrical speeds will soon be available. Spectrum sets itself apart by offering not only internet, but mobile and video services and cost-saving packages such as free internet for life when you sign up for 4 lines of mobile service. We've redefined the streaming experience with our seamless entertainment packages, providing video customers with access to the most popular streaming apps like Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Unlimited, HBO Max, Paramount Plus, and more, a retail value of $129 per month at no additional cost. It's not just our products that set us apart from our competition. Our 100% US-based employees, over 20 who live and work in Willmar, are available 24/7, 365 days a year. We've made significant investments in improving the tools to make their jobs easier, including new digitization technologies and AI and network intelligent programs. Again, these investments were made with the customer in mind. We are equally committed to providing exceptional customer service that consistently exceeds expectations such as same-day service calls and responding to installation and repair calls within 2-hour windows. We are committed to continuing investing in our network and exploring new technologies to ensure that we stay ahead of our competition. We believe that healthy, unsubsidized competition drives improvement, and at the core of our customer commitment is the need to always improve in every aspect of how Spectrum serves our customers and communities. Thank you for your time. Spectrum and our employees are fully committed to this community, and we look forward to continuing our work to ensure families and businesses remain connected. Thank you.
Thank you, Celeste. Next is first of a couple of public hearings and an ordinance authorizing the issuance of general obligation tax abatement bonds. Michaela? Michaela, I forget how to say your name.
It's Mayor, members of the council, Hewitt.
Hewitt.
So just think H-E-W-I-T-T, and we'll be.
Okay. With Baker
It's up-
Tilly.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Michaela Hewitt with Baker Tilly, here to present the items before you on the two public hearings, one on the city's bond ordinance and on the tax abatement as related to the bond financing. I do have a short PowerPoint that I can share and would be happy to answer any questions that you have.
I think we'll have you share that, and then I'll open the public hearing.
Okay, thank you. So again, the purpose of the public hearings tonight, there are two. One is to consider, or following the public hearing, consider adopting an ordinance that would authorize the issuance up to $9.2 million of general obligation tax abatement bonds. And listed here are the dates as applicable to the ordinance and the public hearing tonight. The ordinance was first introduced at January 20th. The public hearing notice was published on January 31st. The public hearing on the bond ordinance is tonight, and then the ordinance would be published following this on February 28th. The second public hearing is on the property tax abatement in an equal amount of $9.2 million. And the property tax abatement, again, provides the authority for the city to consider the issuance of general obligation tax abatement bonds. So tax abatement financing is a mechanism that cities use under Chapter 469, and it is allowed to be used to make specific improvements. The construction costs can be financed internally through city funds or through the issuance of debt obligation bonds. The process of tax abatement allows cities to identify specific parcels that are included within the tax abatement area, and the values from those parcels are what is used to finance and pay off the internal loan or the bonds. I'll be providing additional details on what tax abatement is and how it's used. So again, to use tax abatement bonds use tax abatement financing through bond issuance, there are certain restrictions on how those dollars can be used. They can be used to finance improvements to private property, to finance public infrastructure improvements, and also to acquire, construct, or improve public facilities that may include parks and recreation and community centers. So it is a pretty broad authority tool that, again, can be used to finance both private and public infrastructure projects. When we're looking at the financing tool, the proceeds can be used to finance certain public improvements, and for the project as proposed for the city, you'll see listed here, it's to finance a portion of the cost of the acquisition, construction, and installation of an open access, high-speed fiber optic broadband infrastructure network within certain portions of the city. The annual debt service payments on the general obligation bonds would be made from an annual tax abatement levy using the city-only share of the taxes from the identified properties within the tax abatement. The proposed term of financing is up to 20 years. So prior to using tax abatement, there are findings the city needs to make. These findings are listed within the resolution considering adoption of the tax abatement. I'll list them here. The two primary findings are one, that the city finds that the benefits of the proposed abatement at least equal the costs of the abatement, and that participating in the tax abatement is in the public interest. So the first finding, that the council expects the benefits of the city, benefits to the city of the abatement to at least equal or exceed the cost to the city Listed here, one, the abatement will help to finance the broadband facilities to implement key development goal within the city. The project is expected to provide economic stimulus needed to attract new businesses and to retain and expand existing businesses, and that the broadband facility will help preserve and increase the value of the properties within the tax abatement, thereby helping to generate additional city tax revenues over a longer term and after the expiration of the tax abatement, which in this case is proposed as 20 years. The second finding is that granting of the abatement is in the public interest. And again, from the resolution, the findings are that it will increase or preserve the property tax base by stimulating development and helping to maintain values in the city and region, and that it allows the city and other local governments to provide public services to their residents more efficiently through a direct connection, and to provide access to services for residents and businesses of the city, as the project will offer a service, again, the fiber optic broadband telecommunications that's not currently available. There are a few limitations on tax abatement financing. The maximum term is up to 15 years if all 3 taxing entities participate, meaning the city, county, and school district. However, the city can go up to 20 years if only 2 or fewer of the taxing entities are participating. In this case, we're looking at a city-only tax abatement, so we're able to extend up to 20 years. The other considerations for tax abatement is, as I mentioned, there are certain properties that are included within the tax abatement area, and the value of those properties is what is used to support the debt service payments or the debt service levy on the tax abatement bonds. So there are no back-to-back abatements. Properties that are included within this proposed tax abatement cannot be included within another tax abatement until 8 years pass. So if we're looking at a 20-year tax abatement, the properties that are within this tax abatement cannot be within another tax abatement for up to 28 years. So 20 years plus 8 with the waiting period. The other limit or the other consideration is the annual tax abatement levy for the city is the greater of 10% of the city's net tax capacity, or $200,000. So when we're looking at the annual tax abatement levy, another consideration is up to 10% of that net tax capacity, and that is, again, based on the abatement levy for the debt service. So again, the purpose of the public hearings tonight are one, on adopting a resolution, the bond ordinance authorizing the issuance of up to $9.2 million of general obligation bonds, and also a public hearing on the tax abatement to provide the authority to issue the general obligation bonds of up to $9.2 million. Here's a timeline for the issuance of bonds following tonight's meeting. Again, tonight is the public hearing and considering the ordinance and the tax abatement. Following tonight, the next steps would be on March 2nd, the City Council would consider the bond resolution authorizing sale of the bonds. The week of March 16th would be credit review with Moody's, the Moody's analyst. March 27th is when we'd be looking at publishing the preliminary official statement, and then looking at a sale date of April 6th, and this would be a competitive sale. And then based on this timeline, expecting to receive the bond proceeds for the project around April 23rd. So with that, I'd be happy to take any questions or step aside for the public hearing.
Why don't we have you step aside, and I'll open the public hearing.
Thank you.
I'll open the public hearing. Is there anybody here to speak to this? Anybody here to speak? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and call for a motion. Anybody got questions?
Just to clarify on the, you talked about the back-to-back abatements. So if, for example, in phase 1, if within that 8-year period, something happens where we have to spend some more money on that, what happens? How is that funded?
Mayor, members of the council, the question is, if I'm understanding correctly, right now, the proposed financing structure is for phase 1 of this project. Should a period of time in the future happen where there's either improvements made to Phase 1 or Phase 2 or additional costs incurred for this project, and the city wishes to follow a similar procedure of issuing tax abatement bonds to finance those improvements, what the process would be to find different parcels, not the parcels that are included within this tax abatement, within this proposed tax abatement. They will be tied up for the term of the financing up to 20 years plus the 8 years after that. So any future phases or project costs would be financed by different parcels within the city with a similar process for how this project is being financed. One thing to note on that, when identifying the properties, we look at limiting the amount of what's included in this to provide that flexibility for future projects or for the city to use tax abatement to finance either additional phases of this project or other qualifying projects within the city. So short answer is we try to minimize the properties that are included within this tax abatement to allow the authority to finance additional improvements through tax abatement with different properties within the city.
Thank you. Any other questions? Rick?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. When did this tax abatement language come into play? I've never heard it before on this. This was supposed to be income revenue.
So Mayor, members of the council, that's a good question. I thought you wanted to know when tax abatement became a tool, and it was, I think, 1999 or 97. But the answer to your question, tax abatement is the financing mechanism for this project. It is because it's general obligation, it's the lowest interest financing for this type of project. And we went through the different types of projects that can be financed through tax abatement. The expectation is while we're using the tax abatement as the authority to finance the improvements, the projected revenues from the new project will reduce to cancel the annual debt service levy. So the expectation is the revenues generated by the project will reduce the annual debt service levy of the city in amount that's equal to those revenues. So the net effect would be that the project revenues of the future revenues of the project are what's paying the debt service. However, from an authority standpoint, the tax abatement, under the tax abatement statute, the properties that are identified within the tax abatement resolution are the city's annual tax abatement levy. But then the revenues generated by the project reduce the city's overall levy. So the net effect is that the project revenues are paying the debt service, and the tax abatement is the mechanism for which to finance the improvements.
Any other questions? Tom?
Just coattailing off of Fagerly there. You had $200,000. Was that per year?
So the limit, Mayor, members of the council, the limit that was referenced there is, so with tax abatement, there are some limitations on the use of it. There's an annual test that's the greater of 10% of the city's net tax capacity or 200,000. In this case, your net tax capacity is just around 21 million, so your annual tax abatement levy limit would be 2.1 million. And the proposed debt service for this project is well below that 2.1 million. So it's the greater of your 10% or the 200,000. In some communities that are very small, 10% of their tax capacity is less than 200. But in your case, the annual tax abatement levy for all projects within the city is 10%. And right now, based on your current total tax capacity, is about 2.1 million.
Okay, so all the properties enlisted, this is my understanding, is gonna pay off this bond, but if we don't have the money coming in from the revenue from that, the city's gonna lose that for budgeting purpose for the rest of the city, correct?
So as a general obligation bond, there will be the annual debt service payments for 20 years. The expectation is that the revenues from the project will be used to pay the debt service on the bonds, but to the extent if the revenues are less than what the debt service payments are, it is a general obligation levy of the city, similar to all the cities existing in future bonds. So it's an annual debt service levy, similar to all of your other debt service levies. However, the expectation is that future revenues from this project will cancel the debt service levy. That makes it neutral, if you will, from those future revenues. One of the things that we've been working on and structuring of the bonds is reviewing those projected revenues and trying to align the annual debt service payments with the revenues so that there's not going to be a levy impact in that the sizing of the revenue. So based on projections, we're trying to size the debt service payments around the levy or the debt service payments. My understanding is there's also other sources of revenue that could be available before the debt service levy is impacted. So between the project revenues, other identified revenues that would be available, that would be what would mitigate the actual levy for debt service on this project.
Anybody else? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Discussion. Roll call.
Councilmember Osk.
Aye.
Gilbertson.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Baggerly.
No.
Schultes.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Butterfield.
No.
5 yeses, 2 noes.
Motion carries. All right, next is a resolution approving tax abatement, GO abatement 2026A. And again, Michaela.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I closed out the PowerPoint presentation, but the second action item is to, do we just do the ordinance public hearing? Is that, now we're doing the abatement? Okay. So the tax abatement, again, this action is to adopt the resolution approving the tax abatement. Again, for the, so in support of the ordinance authorizing the issuance of the general obligation tax abatement bonds, the city must conduct a separate public hearing on the tax abatement. I did describe the tax abatement process in our presentation. And again, the purpose of the tax abatement is the financing mechanism for the project. The maximum term of the abatement is for up to 20 years with an amount not to exceed $9.2 million. And that is based on the highest project cost estimate with the expectation that amount could be reduced based on further project components. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions or step aside for the hearing.
Next, I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone here to speak to the tax abatement? Anybody here to speak? If not, I'll close the hearing and call for a motion.
So moved. To approve the tax abatement.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Discussion. Tom?
I'll go at the end because I got a few more questions, so see if anybody else has any first. They might have same questions as I do.
Anybody got questions?
Kyle, on Exhibit A on the parcel numbers for the properties, there's about 550 of them listed. How do we come up with those properties?
Yeah, that was Michaela.
So the question on the properties included within Exhibit A of the abatement resolution, when looking at the location of this project, in part what we wanted to do is minimize the amount of properties that need to be within the tax abatement, only up to the maximum 9.2 million that's provided for in the authorizing resolution over a 20-year term. And secondly, then the properties that are listed within there are in geographic proximity to where the projects are. So if the project is. So if we look at a map of the entire city, going back to the public benefits and finding the findings within the resolution, Essentially, all of the properties within the city have the same general public benefit of this project. However, if we include every property within this tax abatement, there's no future tax abatements. So that being the case, what we do is we look for properties that are within geographic proximity of where the improvements are going to occur, up to the amount that's needed to support the tax abatement. So there is some methodology to which properties are identified based on both the geographic location up to the maximum amount of what the abatement's being proposed, knowing that the benefits to properties greater than this could be considered, but we didn't want to include them in there for the case of future tax abatement financings.
So just to follow up on that, are the parcels that are listed all in phase one?
That's correct.
And then out of those phase one, are all these parcels ones that pre-signed up to, that they were interested in having this fiber, or is this just a random draw?
The properties that are included within here have no correlation to the project itself. When identifying properties within a tax abatement, there's no impact to these properties as compared to any other properties within the city. There is no consent needed for the properties that are included within the tax abatement area. So it's a mechanism that is used by identifying properties that meet the qualifications that generate, meeting qualifications such that they're generating sufficient revenues of the city share of the tax abatement to be included within the project up to the maximum tax abatement amount. So to answer the question, the properties that are listed here have no different impact than any other properties within the city as far as if they've signed up for this project. So they're all being treated equal as far as that's concerned.
Okay. And then have we reached out to these owners of these parcels to see if they want to be included on this? Because later on, if they wanted to go for an abatement, now they can't, now they're locked in for 28 years where now they can't try and get an abatement on their property.
So the properties that are included within here are residential homes. Generally, when we're doing tax abatements, we avoid any sort of businesses or projects that would be looking at doing improvements to their project. And so tax abatement has been reserved as a tool to facilitate new development, redevelopment opportunities. When we're looking at a traditional tax abatement and providing an incentive to a project, generally it will be commercial or commercial industrial type facilities that are looking to do an expansion or some other improvement and requesting tax abatement assistance. When we're doing tax abatement for these types of projects, we focus on residential properties that generally don't qualify and wouldn't request a tax abatement just due to the existing value of their property, the use of the tool itself. And from a statutory standpoint, there is not a requirement to notify and or request that properties included within a tax abatement area need to be, there's no statutory requirement that they need to be notified and or requested to participate in a tax abatement.
Okay. On that, just say something happens where somebody is remodeling, doing whatever, qualify for another abatement, they have this, and they protest it because they never agreed to be on it, what happens then?
The statute allows, and I believe the resolution that, excuse me, every other year, an abatement resolution can be modified. So if there's a time in the future, so one of the things that we've discussed is right now it's a not to exceed 9.2 million based on the maximum estimated cost of the project. Should the city choose in the future that the actual abatement is less, the abatement resolution can be modified and properties can be removed that are not needed for the tax abatement, which then doesn't have that full 20-year implication. And it reduces the time. So that was one of the considerations, as if the actual financing amount comes in less, the properties included within here can be reduced, which doesn't lock in for that full 20-year period of time. The other thing on tax abatement is the use of tax abatement can be subject to the city's tax abatement policy. And if housing or other uses, that would be a future, I guess, consideration or discussion topic.
Anybody else? All right, roll call.
Councilmember Butterfield,
No.
Davis.
Aye.
Gilbertson.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
Osk.
Aye.
And Baggerly.
No.
5 ayes, 2 noes.
Motion carries. Thank you, Kayla.
Thank you.
Next, I'm going to call on Environment Specialist Sarah Seatsma to review the ordinance amendment for sanitary sewer, and then I'll open the public hearing.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and council members. Tonight, I'm here recommending a minor amendment to Chapter 16, Article 3, Division 3, Section 1691. So at the January 5th council meeting, it was made clear that council wished to remove the list of unacceptable sewer lateral materials that was included in the original adoption of this I&I mitigation program ordinance language. So staff have been applying the other parts of the ordinance when determining if a private sewer lateral is compliant, and we have not been using pipe material as a measure. This ordinance would remove that language. The other minor language change presented tonight would allow staff to accept a CCTV video after repair or replacement work has been done in lieu of an on-site open trench excavation, or to be able to determine that compliance right after the repair or replacement work has been done. We're seeing most property owners right now are choosing to do either slip lining or that cured in place pipe lining as the method of repair or replacement. And so these after the fact CCT videos allow us to ensure that the work was done and that we are finding it to our acceptable standards. So with that, I will proffer the amendment that's in your council packets tonight and ask that you open the public hearing.
All right, I'll open the public hearing at this time. Is there anybody in the audience that wishes to speak? Anybody wishing to speak? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing and call for a motion to approve the ordinance amending the sanitary sewer ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Justin?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to offer that I heard from a resident recently that just completed the sale, or is in the process of completing the sale of their property, and theirs was one that was flagged and that required that they work with the buyer of their property. They were able to do so, and it sounds like things went very smoothly. And basically, the cost of that repair is now being picked up by the buyer. And so I think we always hear, you know, the negative sides when things don't go right. And I just wanted to share with you and the rest of the council that I got to hear today one of the positive examples of this working out, I think very much exactly as we would probably have planned for that to do. So wanted to share that.
Thank you.
Any other? Roll call.
Councilmember Davis.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Gilbertson.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
Butterfield.
Aye.
Osk.
Aye.
And Fagerly.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 noes.
Motion carries. I need a motion to publish the ordinance by summary.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Do we have discussion? If not, roll call.
Councilmember Schultz.
Aye.
Gilbertson.
Aye.
Butterfield.
Aye.
Osk.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
And Nelson.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 noes.
That motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Next is an ordinance amending section 7.03C, 7.04C, and 7.05C of the charter of the city of Willmar. I'll call on Kyle for this, and then I'll open the public hearing after he explains. Okay, so Robert's going to do it.
Mayor, members of the council, this is a public hearing on
one charter amendment ordinance that would make amendments to 3 separate charter sections. As was the case recently, there is not a full council here tonight, so the recommendation tonight will be to continue the public hearing rather than close it and vote. That being because it's a charter amendment ordinance, it is required for this to take effect that every council member and the mayor vote in favor of it. As far as the substance of the 3 amendments to the 3 charter sections, it's actually very simple. The city charter has provisions for 3 types of petitions that can lead to special elections: initiative, referendum, and recall. The charter specified format requirements for those petitions, which is different than and not as thorough as regulations adopted by the Minnesota Secretary of State for the same types of petitions. So the amendments simply replace what's in the charter currently with the format requirements that the Secretary of State has adopted in each case. With that, I don't have any further explanation, but I'm happy to entertain any questions. Otherwise, I'd recommend the council receive any public comments, since this is a public hearing, and then continue the public hearing until the March 2nd council meeting.
All right. Again, I'll open the public hearing. Anybody here to speak to this issue? Anybody here to speak? I would call for a motion to table the agenda until March 2nd.
So moved.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Schultes,
Aye.
Baggerly,
Aye.
Osk,
Aye.
Gilbertson,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Butterfield,
Aye.
and Nelson.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 noes.
Our motion passes. Thank you, Robert. Next is Project 2503C Technology Drive Overlay. And calling on Spencer Johnson.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, Council. Thank you for having me this evening. In your packets, you will find the final pay application and reconciling change order for the Technology Drive Street Improvement Project. The final pay application is in the amount of $447,533.59. We have reviewed the project. It is complete, and we recommend final payment be made and the project be accepted and closed out. If there's any questions, I'm open to answering any questions that council may have at this time.
Either motion or discussion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
Councilmember Nelson,
Aye.
Butterfield,
Aye.
Baggerly,
Aye.
Osk,
Aye.
Gilbertson,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
and Schultes.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 noes.
Motion carries. Thank you, Spencer.
Thank you.
Next is rail corridor study, and I will call on Operations Director Kyle Box.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. This evening, we'll be asking the council to consider acceptance of a proposal for a rail corridor study. Last year, the council, November of '25, the council approved the cooperative agreement between the city, the county, and BNSF Railway Company. The city has released the RFP after working with the county and the railroad to develop the RFP and has received 4 proposals, again, that were evaluated by city staff, county staff, and a representative from BNSF. The recommended proposal is included in your packet from SRF. However, we did receive 4 proposals in total from ACOM, HDR Engineering, and Quandel Consultants. The entire project, or the purpose and scope of the proposal, again, that we received from SRF, responds directly to the proposal and the cooperative agreement. The study aims to identify projects and long-range program of improvements to advance multimodal safety, freight efficiency, and community connectivity. This proposal positions this specific study as a corridor-wide planning and engineering effort that builds on the recent planning work, including the With Willmar Comprehensive Plan and the Safe Streets for All initiatives, and focuses on translating those plans into capital-ready infrastructure concepts. The proposal that we received from SRF is consistent with the RFP, which evaluates and studies the at-grade crossings, safety improvement opportunities, grade separation, crossing closure alternatives, pedestrian and bicycle connectivity along the rail corridor, and potential alternative uses for the BNSF spur line. The project is broken into 3 main phases. Phase 1, the desktop and field reviews. Phase 2 is the public outreach, stakeholder engagement. And Phase 3 is the development of a full corridor strategy. Within the proposal, we also added a optional Phase 4, which would be further project refinement and grant development. This was important for us to include as an alternate if and when rail grants become available at the federal level. We could then go back and work with this consultant to develop those specific grants when we know from when the study is developed, put together, and what we know the council would like to proceed with in capital improvements in the future. The proposed timeline is expected to begin by either the end of this month or early next month, with Phase 3 deliverables expected in November of this year. Again, the Phase 4, which is an optional phase, would further extend the proposed timeline by an additional 5 to 6 months, depending on funding and authorization. The budget for this project, we had established the entire project not to exceed $300,000, and this is split evenly between the 3 entities, the city, the county, and BNSF contributing $100,000 each. SRF's proposal is structured to deliver the full multi-phase study within those timelines. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I will pause there for any questions.
Any questions? If no questions, I would call for a motion to adopt the resolution.
So moved.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, roll call.
Councilmember Davis.
Aye.
Gilbertson.
Aye.
Osk.
Aye.
Butterfield.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Fagerly.
Aye.
And Schultz.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 noes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Kyle, we'll call on you for Willmar Government Academy.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. This is a fun program that we want to present tonight. I think it'll be very beneficial not only for the community, which was its focus, but also for our city staff as well. And I have to give credit where credit is due. Our administrative assistant, Allie Paulson, did a lot of research and a lot of building, putting this program together. So I wanted to make sure she got the credit for putting this together. So the Willmar's Government Academy is a 7-week program designed to give our community members an inside look on how the city of Willmar operates. Participants would be able to engage with city leadership and staff directly to understand the services, the decision-making process, and opportunities for civic involvement. The goals of the program are To strengthen community connections through transparency and engagement. You know, we would like to continue to strive to provide residents with clear behind-the-scenes understanding of how we operate, and then continue to build off those shared understandings of our public services, listing our priorities and our decision-making process. And we ultimately want to encourage, like I had mentioned before, encourage that community dialogue, the community involvement, and provide residents with the informed participants in local government and civic life. And why it matters, just a continuation on that, we want to be able to, you know, pull the doors back, look at our city operations from a department level view. It's not every day that you get to walk up to finance and see what makes Tom's wheels turn up in finance and how we get to operate. And the whole goal is to make this interactive, right? You know, the fun stuff, public safety, you know, that's when you get to see the lights and the sirens, and it gets really people's attention. But I don't know how many people have got to tour a waste treatment plant. That's really exciting stuff as well. So that's the whole goal, again, just to be able to have that catalyst for trust and transparency, understanding how we operate, and finally, providing public pathways to public service, whether that's boards, commissions, or even local or state government employment. Program logistics and the structure, what we're proposing is, again, a 7-week program beginning on March 31st, going through May 12th. And then the following council meeting that in May, I believe it's May 16th or 18th, having a reflection period with the council before the council meeting, for you, an opportunity for you to meet with the participants and ask questions along the way, but just as well as a recognition for those that went through the program. We're looking to provide a light meal. You know, this would be from 5 to 7 p.m. each of those nights. We want to be able to provide a good experience, and that's why we're putting a max participation of 15. This will be our first go at this, and we want to be able to do it well. I know if we get in anywhere between that 15 and 20 range, we'll evaluate it, but we do want to establish a maximum. A level of participation. You must be 18 years or older, live in Willmar, and able to transport yourselves from different locations. Again, each week will include several departments, ensuring all departments are highlighted. And there it is right there, the May 18th council meeting for recognition. We do have a small budget that will be for this, and largely just to cover the expense of the meals based on 15 to 20 people. Roughly $3,000 over those 7 weeks. But again, that would be our not to exceed if it's about $20 a head is what it turns into. So I think we can come in under that, but we just want to make sure that there's an appropriate budget in place. So tonight's action, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, ask questions of the program, but we would be looking at a motion from the City Council to approve the Willmar Government Academy.
Make a motion to approve the Willmar Government Academy.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second. Discussion. Justin?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Love the idea. I'm going to assume that things go really well. Would this be something we would look to do again in the future?
Yes, the goal in mind is this would be an annual program.
Okay. And assuming that this goes really well, would it be possible to expand and maybe offer a second style of course that might be somewhat different, that would target like high school youth?
Yeah. Yes, that is something that we had talked about.
I assume it produces unique challenges.
It produces some unique challenges, maybe on the transportation side of it, and just the aspects of any minorities participating. That was something that the other cities that we worked with, that was something that they potentially shied away from, was making sure that all participants were 18 or older. But absolutely, I think as we go through this, the goal is to have maybe a surveyed response after each session. What can we do different, or what did you like, et cetera. But maybe coming off of this type of program to exactly what you had mentioned, Councilman Barras, to have a...
I would think if you worked with the Willmar Public School
Yeah.
District that they could help you solve some of those challenges too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Carl?
So do you have the qualifications there? How do they actually apply for this? Who would?
Yeah, we have an application That's put it,
okay.
yep, so it would be an
And
online.
let's say you get 30 applicants, well, how you whittle that down?
Yep, right now, a first come, first serve is how we would put it out.
Tom?
Thank you, Mayor. In the event that there is some interest on that youth side, in the event that a child and parent, and there was seats available, and I know everybody up here is very civically involved and think it's going to be a huge hit, but in the event that only 13 people sign up, could a parent and a under 18 civic-minded youth attend the academy as well?
You know, it's possible, Councilmember Gilbertson. Some of the thought behind it is, let's say we're touring the waste treatment facility, and you're in some maybe more dangerous or conditions, or I shouldn't say dangerous, but something you maybe wouldn't want an unsupervised or a little child or a child around. That was the thought, again, the thought process around it, but we can be as accommodating as possible. And then not to belabor this, but making sure that we don't take away from the experience that others are also having in the class.
All right. Go ahead, Rick.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. So is this duplication of what the chamber does, or this is more diversified just for the city?
Yeah, that's a great question, Councilmember Fagerly. We do have a couple of classes that through the LEAD program and the Leadership Perspectives program that are government-oriented. This is a deep dive to the City of Willmar operations specifically, but it's a very similar structure and program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would it be possible that if you say you attend, you're gonna apply to be on a commission?
It'll be a requirement, they just don't know it yet, yeah. Yep, thank
Any
you.
further discussion? I like this idea a lot. I'll thank Ally next
Please
time
do.
I come into the office. If there's no further discussion, roll call.
Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
Gilbertson.
Aye.
Schultes.
Aye.
Osk.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Baggerly.
Aye.
And Butterfield.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 noes.
That motion carries. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you, Mayor, thank you, Council.
Next is Sunday liquor license for 2026. I'll call on City Clerk Renee Larson.
I just have one applicant looking for a Sunday liquor license, and that's the Elks Lodge of Willmar, Lodge number 952. They're just looking for approval for a Sunday license. They didn't reapply when renewals came around, and now have decided they would like to have that Sunday liquor license. They have held one in the past, they just didn't renew, and now changed their minds, so.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and second, discussion. Roll call.
Councilmember Schultes.
Aye.
Gilbertson.
Aye.
Osk.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Baggerly.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
And Butterfield.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 noes.
Motion carries. We're at the end of our regular meeting. Any announcements? Audrey?
I thought maybe Pablo would like to talk about the event this weekend.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, yes, and thank you for the opportunity to remind our community and you city leaders that tomorrow, actually tonight, Ramadan begins for many members of our community. And this will be this Saturday. Community Connections, which is led by Abdi Fattah Mohammed, is hosting Eid meal. And this is a way to introduce that tradition in our community. Many people throughout the years have wondered what is that about, and they are willing to, over a meal, explain some of the meanings behind, and for us to start understanding the importance of that faith community and this celebration. So again, logistics is this Saturday, beginning at 5 at the Islamic Community Center on the northwest part of town. remind me of the name of the former school.
Lafayette?
Lafayette. So that's where we will be gathering. There is no need to RSVP. Just come as you're willing, and I hope that many of you can be partaking of that.
Is the door on the south side of the building, or where do you enter?
Good question. South.
Okay.
Yes. I was trying to locate myself, and any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Pablo. There's no other announcements. We're going to enter into closed sessions. Need a motion to enter into closed session.
So move.
Second.
Mayor, members of the council, before we vote on that motion, we need to identify the statute and the property to be discussed on the record.
This portion of the regular meeting of the city council will be closed pursuant to Minnesota statutes, section 13D.05, subdivision 3C. The council may be asked to take formal action after concluding the discussions in a closed session. The following real property will be discussed separately in closed session. Parcel, Candy High County parcel ID 95-976-2302. Now I need that motion to close the meeting.
So move.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, start roll call.
Councilmember Butterfield.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Schultes.
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
Osk.
Aye.
Baggerly.
Aye.
And Gilbertson.
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 noes.
The city council is now in closed session pursuant to Minnesota statutes 13D.05 subdivision 3C. The time is 7:33. In addition to city council, also present This meeting must be tape recorded. The minutes of this portion of the meeting should reflect only that a meeting was held on this agenda item with its date, time, and location, who was present at the meeting, and the purpose of the meeting. I will now call on city staff to lead the discussions regarding Candy High County parcel 95-976-2302.